All right, so I went in and got Barney. Barney is about 17-week-old Giant Schnauzer. And first thing that happens when he comes out is his family goes to talking to him real excitedly and encouraging him to jump up, okay? And as a dog trainer, I deal with that all the time. People bring me dogs and they say, hey, Stonnie, this dog is jumping on me. He's barking at me when I get home. He's grabbing my underwear and running through the house, and he's just acting crazy, you know, and I want that to stop. And so when they come back to visit and work with the dogs when they're here, the first thing they do is start to encourage them to kind of behave in a wild and haphazard way. And I always ask them, I say, well, why are you encouraging that dog to jump? And they almost to the person say the same thing. Well, I haven't seen him in a long time, okay? Well, is that the rule, right? So if the rule is you can jump and be kind of wild when you haven't seen someone in a while, then you got to remember the dogs, like if you go to Kroger and you come back, well, that's been a while to them, so they might jump on you. You go to work, you've been gone a long time. When you walk back through the door, that seems like a while to them, so they're going to jump on you. If you have a cousin that only stops by every once in a while, they might jump on them. Your elderly mother stops by and the dog hasn't seen them in a while, well, then the dog's liable to jump on them, right? So what I like to do is take a little bit of a different approach. I like to model the behavior I want to see. And so if I want to see calm behavior when I first get home, well, then I model calm behavior. And you guys might be able to hear this on the video or maybe not, but I've got dogs that are over there playing, right? Okay. And so they got fired up when everybody started to be excited. Hey, Charlotte, do something with those dogs, please. So I'm going to have Charlotte put those dogs under control. And she's going to walk right to them, and she's going to start modeling the behavior she wants to see and rewarding them for being calm, attentive, and polite so that I don't have that crazy activity drawing this dog's attention away from what we're doing. Very nice. Now, as soon as I took this leash, this dog calmed right down, and he calmed right down because the type of energy that I'm sending down the leash is calm, attentive, and polite energy, and he knows that when I'm involved in a situation, we are going to get our schoolwork done before we party. And I'm in no way trying to limit how much time you guys spend playing with your dogs or how rough you play with your dogs or what kind of wild, crazy things you do with the dogs. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, let's make sure that the wild and crazy stuff happens at the appropriate time and at the appropriate place, okay? Because we want to limit the amount of times that we get frustrated with our dogs, and we want to make sure our dogs are welcome places. What if you take your dog to, let's just say, a restaurant, and they're at that restaurant on the patio, somebody shows up that they have not seen in a while? Do you want your dog to jump on those people just because they haven't seen them in a while? Well, of course not, right? So let's go ahead and try to get the dog in the habit of starting social situations off by being calm, attentive, and polite. Let's try to give him some good impulse control. And let's try to make sure that he's going to be welcomed everywhere he goes. Okay, now you bought this dog to a certain extent to be a guard dog, and you have a lot of people that come to your farm and work or visit. Okay, so we want to minimize the liability of this dog by making sure that he understands that social etiquette is mandatory. It's not something that happens 5 minutes after somebody shows up. It's the first thing that happens when somebody shows up. The first thing that happens, calm, attentive, polite, and then if he has to put them over in the evildoer category, he can, right? And that's going to give us, it's going to buy us a little time when people show up to where he takes a minute and he looks at them, he really studies them, and he asks himself, do these people really look like they need to be put in the evildoer category? Or are these people pretty good? Hey, and here's the neat thing. The more well-behaved your dog is, the more at ease your company will be. And if your company is at ease, their emotions is going to make it more clear to the dog what their intentions are, right? Sometimes a guard dog can get a little bit confused because the people that see the dog are afraid of the dog, and so they're acting in a little bit of an awkward manner. Like you said, you're afraid of German Shepherds, and I have a German Shepherd in there. I'm going to let you walk, right? But since you're afraid of the dog, you're going to look at it a little bit differently when it comes out here, and that's going to make the dog nervous. Like if you went somewhere and somebody was looking at you weird, it'd make you nervous, right? Okay, so if you have your Giant Schnauzer on your farm, you're going to have a couple of different reactions to it. The first reaction, most common, will be one of like ooh and awe, like, oh wow, you know, that's a great dog. But people are going to want to touch him and pat him. That can create a little bit of problem with schnauzers, right? Okay, the other problem is going to be he's a big black dog and scary, and they're going to go, and the dog's going to look at him and say, why are you so nervous? You up to no good? You know? Okay, so one of you guys come walking. Harper's beating her brother out. I start with the cursory physical examination because we already know this dog has an inclination to not be good at the vet. And again, the vet did not tell you that because they don't like to be honest, but they did tell you when he was better. Yeah. So if they told you when he was better, shouldn't they have told you when he was worse? Yeah. But see, the problem is that if they might have hurt your feelings, then you go to a different vet.
Which she mentioned it the first time, but she didn't tell me that.
She didn't tell the truth. Just be honest. Yeah, no. Now that's the right side. There you go. Up, 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 up. Good, very nice. Now, this dog is going to get fatigued a lot quicker in this sunshine because he's coal black and he just sucks up heat. So you'll be able to touch his body, and you can feel that heat. So if we're going to work him very much, we probably wet him down with the hose. Now right there, hey Harper, right there, you see, like notice, remember when we were actually doing our schoolwork, that dog all of a sudden was too tired to do schoolwork? Hey, and now he's not too tired to get up here and get in your way, right? Yeah. Okay, well that's how life works. But hey, look, dogs aren't fragile. Just tell him to get out of the way. That's one of the things you guys got to understand. Like dogs aren't fragile. Babies aren't fragile. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're in your way, move them. If they're refusing to walk, just walk. They'll get it. They'll figure it out. Very nice. Now those two dogs run together pretty hard. You see what I'm saying? Because they kind of got similar like bully mentalities. Yeah. So they bully the other dogs together a lot. And then sometimes they get into it, you know. And I try to, like, my general rule with dogs is like with kids, no blood, no foul. Work it out, you know. But if I get involved, everybody gets in trouble.
The problem at our house is there is no other dogs.
Yeah, well, we'll get you another dog, so we'll fix that. Good. All right. Now that was perfect, Harper, how you had a little bit of trouble with that one thing, and then you turned right around, and she just did it again. And that's what we like to do. Like if we have trouble, we just turn around, we do it again. And then notice how I'm not interfering too much. I went over there one time, and I moved the dog out of the way for Harper, and I said, hey, look, if you know, like, if you're having problems, fix it. You know, I'm not going to do it for her. I'm not going to baby the dog or the child any more than necessary. I help them as you know, as much as I have to, but absolutely no more than necessary. Very good. Easy on the way down, and turn and go through your cones there. Very good. And then try when you're walking most of the time to have a little bit more slack in your leash, and only put the tension in the leash if you need control. Okay. Right? Because you wouldn't want to walk somewhere if I had a like hold of your neck. Yeah. You know. But if I had to grab you by your neck or your shirt or your ponytail to keep you from getting run over by a car, that's a fair trade-off, right? Okay, so think about the leash the same way. We're using the leash as a handle that keeps dogs from causing trouble or getting hurt. You know. So like we're not trying to constantly be pulling on the leash or holding the leash or like being unduly dominant of the dog because we can. We're just like, look, I gotta kind of keep you on this handle for a while till you're mature enough to make good decisions. And then what we do with like the off-leash stuff is everybody like kind of overthinks it, but basically good off-leash obedience comes from good on-leash obedience. You know, the leash is like training wheels for a bike, and we just use it till we don't need it, and then we put it away forever. And I've got a whole kennel full of dogs that mind off the leash, and all I ever did was, like, you know, let them run around off the leash and then practice basic obedience. Yep. Now see how both of these dogs, now this is what we call a competition model, right? Both of the dogs are competing for Harper's attention. And as long as they're competing by like, hey, look, I can do my schoolwork better, I let that go on. Now, as the dogs are here a little bit longer, then I start to make them be a little bit more respectful with the distance and stuff. But right now, I want your dog to think that that other dog might get Harper's attention, but that way he won't take it for granted. Very good. Good boy. Okay. All right, now, so we're gonna walk Barney again. Now let me see him. I'm gonna. It's okay. I'm gonna throw him in the stock tank for a second. Come here, Barney. Come here, nerd. Oh my gosh. Come on, nerd. Oh. Good dog. Good dog. There we go. We just cool him off a little bit, you know. Okay, who's walking him next? All right, Quinn. Come on, nerd. All right. So, Quinn, since you struggled a little bit last time, I'm going to make it a little easier on you. I'm going to take this dog out of the way. Charlotte, get this dog. All right, now, hey, be pretty lavish with your treats at first, you know. Like, really let him know that, there's something in it for him. And one of the hardest things that we run into, like when you're doing initial dog training and you're not used to doing food work protocols, is people have a tendency to really take for granted when the dog's being good. Yeah. They don't give them treats very often, right. You know. Yeah. It's like people, if they tell the dog to do something like sit or down or whatever, they'll kind of give them a treat. But the problem with that is I don't want a dog that I have to tell what to do. Mm-hmm. My goal is to have a dog that makes good decisions, right? But for that dog to understand which decisions that I really appreciate means I need to be a little bit more forthcoming with my rewards, you know. And that's why, like, that's why I'll constantly be talking about, like, you know, like use your emotions and reward them when they match your emotions, you know. I really want the dog just to be able to look at you and go, this is how we're supposed to act in this situation. Yeah. So like if you're driving in your car and you're chilling, right, well then probably the dog, hey, if you're in your car and somebody's coming up to the window and you're like freaking out, you want the dog to freak out. Yeah. You know, same thing if you're getting packages or whatever. Yeah. Like if you look up and it's the UPS man and you're like, okay, whatever, you want the dog to look at you, look at the UPS man and go, okay, whatever. Right. But like if it's somebody and you go, ah, then you want the dog to immediately, bam, drop into that defensive mode based on your emotions, you know. Now you do have to be careful with that a little bit when you have children over, because sometimes like children, teenagers especially, will get into little spats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, and so, you know, as Harper's arguing with her friend, you know what I mean? The dog's like, aha, you're giving Harper a hard time. Well, it's me and Harper against the world. Yeah, 100%. Very nice. Good job, Quinn.
Bunny's very slobbery. This is all very new for Quinn. Like he's not like he's not really been around, a lot of dogs or had to.
Yeah, probably not been around a lot of people like me. Well, Quinn, you're going to hang out with me. Learn to be a right-wing extremist.
He, our other dog just never went anywhere. It was never even on the leash,
Yeah. Now, not to interrupt you, but see how where he dropped that treat? Right? That's just little stuff that'll get better over time, you know what I mean? Yeah. But if you drop a treat and you're working on some obedience stuff, hey, just let it be. Yeah. And don't let the dog get it. Right. Like, I mean, if they're right there and they can get it, that's fine. But don't be afraid to make it a chance for you to kind of show the dog that what you're working on takes precedence over what they want. Yeah. Right? Because that's...
Like, leave it and go on.
Yeah, but I don't even say, listen, right. If we're out walking, I shouldn't have to say leave it. Yeah. You're tied to me. Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so if I have to stop what I'm doing to talk to you, to get you to go back to having good manners, I've already lost. Yeah. So having a dog that will leave it, if you want to call it that, when you tell it to, it's better than one that won't, right. But it's not as good as one that just learns to stay focused on the task at hand. Very good. That's perfect. Now see how much better these kids are doing? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It really is one of those things where in the beginning it seems like complicated. It's not complicated. Right. It's very simple. What kills people is that simple and easy are not the same thing. Okay, now Quinn, we're going to come around here. We're going to get on the table. We're going to do our cursory physical exam, and then we're going to practice a leash transfer. So Mom, you're going to go take the dog. All right, so we're going to go feet on the block, ears.
Oh my goodness, you doofus.
So we're going to go ears, eyes, even that. You see, like you see, it's hard right now for Quinn to just like look in his ear, look at his eyes, look at his teeth. And so these exercises are as much for you guys as it is for the dog,
Yeah.
right? We need to know what a healthy dog feels like, but we also need to know, especially since you live on a farm, he's liable to pick up a stick and chew on it. So you want to look at his gums, make sure he doesn't have a splinter. Another thing that happens sometimes with these bigger dogs is their joints will be hurting. When you feel their joints will be hot.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel their stomach, if they've eaten something they're not supposed to, it'll feel distended, or they'll show a slight discomfort. You know, when you feel their privates, like, you know, dogs can have problems like that. They can have swollen, you know, gonads. It's all kinds of stuff. And if you catch all that stuff early, it's really not an issue. If you don't catch it early, it can turn into something big. Okay, Mom, you go ahead. Perfect. Very nice. Okay. Now go ahead and start with your exam, and we're going to end with an exam. So we're going to go. No. Come back up on the table. Yeah, we're going to start. Yeah, we're going to start with it. Yeah, just walk all the way around it. There you go. We're going to start with an exam and end with an exam. Just because this is practice for you guys, right? Okay. Yeah. So we're going to go ears, eyes. And see how it like moves his head around. Okay, you know, that's what we're going to get to. We're going to get to where he's rock solid statue still for these kinds of things. Very nice, good. And then click treat. Perfect. There you go. And then off the table and start in with your schoolwork. Now this is where we really practice our emotion matching. Up, 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 up. Good dog. Easy on the flat. Very nice. And then wait at the end before we go down that step. Good. And just think about getting on a boat or getting on an airplane or something. You know, like we don't want to be fishing a dog out of the lake. You know what I'm saying? We want them to, like, when we're going to step down a step or step up a step, we want them to kind of get in a habit of stopping and looking. Up, up, up. Very nice. Easy on the way down. Up, up, up. Good. Wait. Good. So right here, you're going to pick up some momentum. So you're going to be like easy, but now you need momentum. So hop, up, up. Good. Now you're getting off the ground, so you're going to go easy. We don't want him to fall. Good. Get all the way to the end, and then have him wait there before he goes down those steps. Wait. Give him a chance to eat that treat. There you go. Now we're going to come down the steps, going to go into the tunnel. We're going to click at about halfway in the tunnel, so he comes out of the tunnel looking at you. Click. Very nice. And then we're going to make sure he hits every step on the way down that ramp. Easy. Now you're going to pivot in place.
Okay, come on.
Good. There you go. You're going to weave in between the cones. And we're going to practice a nice straight sit against this board. Perfect. Good. Easy. You're going to have him sit here. Good. And we're going to try to pivot around him. Again, just think about being in the barn. You don't want every time you walk past him for him to think he's got to turn around and follow you. Perfect. Well, not exactly perfect, because at the end, I would have went ahead and picked my treat up, so he sat back down.
Okay.
Up, up, up. There you go, over the barrels. Very nice, easy. Round the spider walk. Now don't trip yourself on the spider walk. There you go, good, good. Now here you're going to be in motion, and you're going to kind of have him stop out of motion. Sit. Suddenly, good. Hey, and what we're preparing him for there is, like, since y'all live on a busy road, hey, we want to get him to where he can be in motion, and if we holler sit at him, he immediately stops and drops his bottom to the ground. So most of these exercises are predicates for future exercises. Okay, on the kayak.
Okay.
Up, 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 up. Good. Easy. Now, so keep going around so they stays on your left. We're trying to kind of keep left-hand continuity here. Easy. And then you're going to come up on this table. Back there. Back that way. And again, this is another time where you got to remember to have empathy for your dog, because you've made that same mistake multiple times. So don't get mad at your dog if they have something in particular that they struggle with. Good. Easy, and then we're going to end with an exam. So you're going to go put him on the other table. That way, it just makes it easier to pivot out in front of them. Good. Up, up, up. Good. Feet on the blocks. Boom. Ears. And then just stay on the back side of him there. There you go. That way you can control him. See how you can use your right hand to control the leash? Good. There you go. Good. Perfect. But now just stop right there. Okay. Now he made it through all of his homework. So remember, like when he first came out and y'all were wanting to love on him, and I was saying, hey, let's try to chill out and get our schoolwork done first. If you make him do his schoolwork, if you make him work on his manners always before you give him attention, then the love that you give him when he gives attention means more to the dog, and it means more to you. So now you can take him off the leash, and you can do whatever you want. Love on him, play with him, give him treats, whatever. He can go over there and see whoever he's going to go see. You know? Does that make sense though?
Yeah, no.
We just get our schoolwork done first. All right.